The European Union is gearing up for countermeasures after the White House imposed 20% tariffs on EU exports. Officials warn the move could hit European industries hard with potential retaliatory tariffs targeting key US goods. Experts say the standoff could slow economic growth on both sides and add uncertainty to global markets. The EU is expected to unveil its response soon, setting the stage for a major trade clash. Joining with more is DW correspondent Chiponda Chimbelu in Berlin.
Well, the responses from the EU's two biggest economies, France and Germany, are very clear, and they want the bloc to be aggressive in its answer to the tariffs. The outgoing German economy minister, Robert Habeck, said that this is an opportunity for the continent to look for like-minded partners and forge new alliances. And the French president, Emmanuel Macron, stated that companies from his country should halt investments in the United States until European countries have a coordinated response. While Brussels has made it clear it is open to negotiations, the EU is under increasing pressure to be more aggressive. Now, since the change in the White House, the shift in rhetoric from Washington has caused Europeans to question the transatlantic partnership due to negotiations on the war in Ukraine between the Trump administration and the Kremlin, and questions over shared values and trade tariffs, of course. Well, the EU is the US's biggest commerce partner, and the value in trade between them is nearly $1 trillion. And last year, just over a fifth of EU exports went to the United States. So the tariffs could, of course, be very damaging for both markets, and they will definitely hurt Europe's biggest economy, Germany, because it is export dependent. And some estimates say Germany's GDP could shrink by as much as 0.5% as a result of the tariffs. Now, industry representatives here have been saying that the tariffs are an attack on the international trade system and global supply chains. And they say the European economy shouldn't become a ball in the fight over geopolitical interests. But companies aren't waiting for a response, and some are already making changes to their supply chains and planning to move production to parts of the United States. Well, the main concern is that the tariffs will lead to a global recession, and if they do remain and we see countermeasures, there will be more trade barriers, and of course that will raise production costs, and that will of course then lead to inflation. So consumers across the world will be buying less, and that could hamper economic growth everywhere. And that is what economists and European policymakers have been warning about. Now, even US consumers would lose out, and moving back production to the United States doesn't make sense for low-end products. And that is because labor costs are very much higher in the United States. And of course, manufacturers there will need to spend more on labor, and then they would have to pass on that cost to consumers. And this is, of course, why economists say a trade war is a lose-lose situation.